Let me ask you something. Have you ever met a woman with beautiful tattoos? Got drawn into her vibe and thought, she looks different, mysterious and exciting. Maybe she's the one. But what if I told you? Studies reveal shocking truths about women with tattoos that most men don't know. See, there's a reason why tattooed women attract more attention, yet long-term relationships with them carry hidden risks. I'm not here to judge anyone. This isn't about morality, looks, or personal choices. This is about facts, and how psychology, biology, and Stoic philosophy reveal patterns that most men ignore until it's too late. According to multiple studies from the Journal of Behavioral Psychology, the University of Southern Queensland, and researchers in London and Chicago, men subconsciously perceive tattooed women as more adventurous, more open to short-term relationships, but less committed long-term. And here's where most men make mistakes. They confuse attention with loyalty. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. While tattooed women might attract more social excitement, studies consistently show that they're also linked to higher levels of impulsive decision-making, higher partner turnover, and lower relationship satisfaction. Does this mean every tattooed woman is the same? Absolutely not. But statistics never lie. Patterns exist for a reason. In this video, I'll break down 11 shocking risks of dating a tattooed woman, backed by science, psychology, and Stoic wisdom, so you can make better decisions, avoid heartbreak, and protect your peace. By the end, you'll understand why looks and vibes aren't enough, and why your mindset matters more than your emotions when choosing a partner. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might completely change how you see attraction, commitment, and long-term happiness. Chapter 1. Tattoos, Impulsiveness, and Relationship Stability. When I first read a study from the University of Southern Queensland about personality traits linked to tattoos, I couldn't believe how deep it went. The research showed a strong correlation between impulsiveness and body, art decisions, and especially in women who got tattoos before the age of 25. Here's the thing. A tattoo, for many, is a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and identity. But it also signals something psychologists call low-delay discounting, meaning a tendency to prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term consequences.
Now, why does this matter in relationships?
Because a person who often acts on impulse, without fully thinking things through, tends to get bored faster in relationships, seek novelty more often, struggle with long-term emotional consistency. In simple words, a higher chance of instability. I remember dating Claire, a beautiful woman I met in Manchester, with 2 stunning tattoos on her arms. In the beginning, everything felt electric. Spontaneous trips, late-night adventures, endless excitement. But after a few months, I started noticing patterns. Plans didn't matter to her. One day she'd be fully in love, the next day distant and detached. When I spoke with a behavioral psychologist friend from Cambridge, she explained, impulsiveness is like adrenaline. It gives you highs. But the crash comes quickly. People who constantly chase new experiences often struggle with long-term stability. That doesn't mean every tattooed woman is impulsive. But statistically, women who get tattoos earlier are more likely to display these traits. From a Stoic perspective, Marcus Aurelius said, a man's worth is measured by what he values. If you value peace, long-term growth, and stability, you need to understand how someone's patterns, not their promises, align with those values. Chapter 2. Tattoos and Perceived Attractiveness versus Long-Term Compatibility. Let's be honest. A tattooed woman stands out. Whether it's a minimal wrist design or a full sleeve, there's something about tattoos that signals boldness, confidence, and individuality. And according to a study published in the Journal of Social Psychology, men naturally perceive tattooed women as more open to casual relationships, more adventurous in personality, higher in sexual openness. Here's the trap. What attracts you initially may not sustain a healthy relationship long-term. I once met Sophie, a tattoo artist from Brighton. She was gorgeous, free-spirited, magnetic, and every guy wanted her attention. But here's the thing. When you attract constant attention, maintaining exclusive loyalty becomes harder, not easier. Studies show tattooed women tend to receive 40% more male approaches compared to women without tattoos. This increased attention, while flattering, statistically leads to more short-term flings, higher partner turnover, greater difficulty maintaining exclusivity, Again, this doesn't mean every tattooed woman cheats. That's not the point. The point is about probability, not prejudice. From a Stoic standpoint, Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. You can't control how many people are attracted to her, but you can control whether you choose someone whose lifestyle, attention levels, and values align with yours. When desire blinds judgment, you risk confusing attractiveness with compatibility, and in relationships, compatibility outlasts chemistry every single time. Chapter 3: Tattoos and Risk-Taking Behavior. I'll be honest with you. When I first started researching the psychology of tattoos, I didn't expect this. A study from the University of West England found something fascinating. Women with multiple tattoos scored significantly higher on sensation-seeking and risk-taking scales. Now, before you misunderstand, let me explain. Risk-taking isn't always negative. It's what drives entrepreneurs, explorers, and innovators. But when it comes to relationships, constant risk-seeking can lead to instability. I once dated Hannah, a woman from Bristol with stunning tattoo sleeves. Our first 3 months together felt like a movie. Spontaneous road trips, late-night parties, unplanned adventures. It was intoxicating. But here's the problem. When the excitement slowed, so did her interest. She thrived on newness. Stability bored her. When I spoke with Dr. Amanda Lewis, a behavioral psychologist from Cambridge, she explained, tattoos often symbolize identity exploration, but high levels of sensation-seeking correlate with difficulty sustaining long-term emotional bonds. Such individuals seek novelty to feel alive. Now let's combine this with Stoic wisdom. Seneca once wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If someone constantly chases new highs, they struggle to stay rooted. And relationships require roots. Does this mean every tattooed woman is unstable? Of course not. But statistically, women with higher body art engagement are over 50% more likely to engage in impulsive spending, frequent partner changes, riskier social environments, lifestyle shifts that clash with long-term commitments. The key isn't judgment, it's awareness. You need to ask yourself, do her choices align with the life I want? Because attraction without alignment always ends in emotional chaos. Chapter 4: Self-image, Identity, and Relationship Conflicts. Tattoos are more than ink, they're stories on skin. Each symbol, each line, each design represents something deeply personal. But sometimes those stories reveal conflicts beneath the surface. Research from the Journal of Personality and Individual Differences shows that women with visible tattoos often score higher on identity exploration, meaning they're still figuring out who they are. This can be beautiful or dangerous. I met Sophie, a creative photographer from London, who had 8 tattoos, each one representing a phase of her life. When I asked her about them, she said, "Every tattoo marks a version of me I no longer am." That hit me. But it also made me think, if your partner is constantly reinventing herself, you might end up in a relationship where the person you love changes faster than you can adapt. This isn't about tattoos themselves. It's about self-concept stability. From a relationship standpoint, instability in self-image often leads to conflicting goals and values, difficulty committing to shared visions, emotional highs and lows based on shifting identities. The Stoics remind us that lasting peace comes from knowing yourself. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." If someone hasn't answered who they are, how can they answer who they want to be with? It doesn't mean tattooed women lack identity, far from it. But the probability of frequent life shifts, career changes, social circles, and lifestyle overhauls is statistically higher. And here's the lesson. Love without aligned identities leads to constant emotional negotiations. Relationships thrive when two people grow together, not in opposite directions. Chapter 5: Attention Dynamics and Social Perception. Here's something men rarely think about. Dating a tattooed woman automatically changes how society perceives her and you. A study from the University of Portsmouth found that women with visible tattoos receive significantly more unsolicited attention, both positive and negative. Men are statistically twice as likely to approach them in social settings, clubs, and even workplaces. Now, increased attention isn't inherently bad, but it comes with pressure dynamics in relationships. I saw this firsthand while dating Leah, a fitness trainer from Manchester with a bold half-sleeve tattoo. Everywhere we went, restaurants, gyms, events, men constantly approached her, complimented her ink, started conversations. At first, I brushed it off. But over time, I noticed something shift. The more attention she got, the more validation became part of her emotional fuel. Psychology calls this social reinforcement, when external attention subtly reshapes self-worth. And studies show women with multiple tattoos are 40% more likely to seek social validation online through platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Here's the risk. More visibility, more competition, more temptation, more temptation, higher probability of loyalty challenges. Again, not because all tattooed women are unfaithful, but because constant external validation can create emotional dissonance. Marcus Aurelius once warned, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This means you must control how you process attention dynamics, not fight them. But here's the catch. If your peace depends on exclusivity in environments that constantly test exclusivity, conflict is inevitable. The real question isn't about tattoos, it's about lifestyle alignment. If she thrives on high-attention environments, and you crave low drama, someone will always feel unsatisfied. Chapter 6. Loyalty versus lifestyle choices. Let me ask you something straight. Do you believe loyalty is about feelings or choices? Most men think if a woman loves them, she'll stay loyal. But the reality is far more complex, especially when lifestyle dynamics come into play. Here's what I discovered through both personal experience and research. I once dated Emily, a talented tattoo artist from Brighton. She had 6 tattoos, each a masterpiece, and her energy was magnetic. But her lifestyle was chaotic: constant parties, late-night studio sessions, and endless social events filled with strangers. At first I thought, if she really loves me, none of this matters. But slowly I realized something deeper. Loyalty isn't about what someone feels in their heart. It's about the environments they consistently choose to live in. A Harvard study on relationship dynamics revealed that individuals who regularly engage in high novelty, high social environments are 43% more likely to experience temptation-related conflicts, regardless of how strong their feelings are. So when dating a tattooed woman who thrives in socially stimulating environments, you need to ask yourself, does her lifestyle match your vision of commitment? Can you handle constant exposure to external validation? Do your boundaries align, or will you always feel tested? This doesn't mean tattooed women are less loyal. But the correlation between expressive self-identity and social immersion means you'll likely face more environmental challenges. And here's the Stoic truth from Epictetus. You are disturbed not by what happens, but by your view of what happens. If you enter such a relationship expecting absolute exclusivity but ignore her lifestyle realities, frustration becomes inevitable. Loyalty isn't about changing someone's environment. It's about choosing someone whose environment aligns with your peace. Chapter 7. Emotional volatility and relationship stability. Now, this chapter is crucial because emotional regulation is the foundation of long-term relationships. Research published in the Journal of Behavioral Science discovered that women with multiple tattoos scored slightly higher on emotional intensity compared to women without tattoos. What does this mean in real life? It doesn't mean tattooed women are unstable. It means they feel deeply. Highs are higher, but lows are lower. I dated Rachel, a makeup artist from Liverpool, who had a dragon tattoo spiraling across her shoulder. When she was happy, life felt euphoric. Spontaneous dates, endless laughter, wild creativity. But when she was upset, the emotional storms were overwhelming. At first, I tried fixing everything. Then I realized that was my mistake. You can't be someone's emotional anchor if they haven't learned to anchor themselves. Stoic philosophy teaches us,
Man conquers the world by conquering himself. Zeno.
if someone hasn't built internal emotional stability, relationships often become roller coasters of overreactions to minor conflicts, frequent testing of boundaries, sudden mood shifts influenced by external triggers, difficulty sustaining long-term peace. Now, combine this with social environments where tattoos often thrive, art studios, festivals, nightlife scenes, and you introduce even more emotional variables. The takeaway? Before committing, observe how she handles stress, rejection, and conflict. Because physical attraction fades, but emotional compatibility, or the lack of it, will define the quality of your relationship. Chapter 8. Social Media. Influence and external validation. Here's a reality many men ignore. Tattoos increase visibility. Visibility changes validation dynamics. A recent study by the University of California found that women with multiple tattoos are 62% more likely to post personal lifestyle content on Instagram and TikTok, often using their tattoos as an aesthetic asset. This isn't about judgment, it's about psychology. I dated Vanessa, a fitness influencer from London with a full-sleeve tattoo. Her Instagram had 250,000 followers. At first I was proud until I realized her online engagement started affecting our relationship. Opportunities for collaborations. Invites from high-status men. Over time, I noticed her self-worth increasingly tied to online engagement metrics. When a post underperformed, her mood dipped. When attention spiked, her energy soared. This isn't about tattoos making women seek validation. It's about visibility increasing social exposure, which naturally increases external temptations. Now here's where Stoic wisdom hits hardest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. If you choose a partner who's highly visible online, you must accept the reality that external attention will always exist." The question is, can you build a relationship strong enough where internal validation outweighs external validation? Because without that, jealousy, insecurity, and emotional friction will slowly erode connection. Bottom line, tattoos aren't the issue. Exposure is. And exposure requires maturity on both sides to handle with grace. Chapter 9. Trust, Challenges, and Relationship Boundaries. Trust, the foundation of every relationship. But here's what most men misunderstand. Trust isn't built on feelings, it's built on boundaries. When you date a woman with visible tattoos, studies show you'll likely encounter higher social interaction, compliments, DMs, invitations, and unexpected attention. This naturally introduces trust-testing scenarios. I learned this the hard way with Chloe, a graphic designer from London who had an intricate back tattoo. Whenever we went out, people approached her, sometimes out of curiosity, sometimes with flirtation. At first, I handled it confidently, but over time I noticed subtle things, longer response times to my texts, vague mentions of just friends, and late-night studio sessions. One evening, I asked her directly, "Do you think our boundaries are the same?" Her silence told me everything I needed to know. According to a University of Michigan study, relationships where one partner receives higher social exposure than the other are 57% more likely to face trust-related conflicts. This isn't about controlling her choices, it's about clarity. Does she value transparency and communication? Does she naturally set boundaries when external attention rises? Do your definitions of loyalty actually align? Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In modern relationships, this means values matter more than emotions. You can't fix trust issues after they arise. You must align on boundaries before stepping deeper. If you don't, small cracks eventually become emotional earthquakes. Chapter 10. Long-term compatibility versus short-term chemistry. Let me tell you something most men don't want to hear. Attraction is easy. Compatibility is rare. I've met women who could set my heart on fire within minutes. Witty, magnetic, stunning. One of them, Amelia from Manchester, had the most artistic sleeve tattoo I'd ever seen. Our first few weeks together were incredible. Every date felt electric. But then, reality arrived. She loved late-night parties. I loved quiet evenings. She thrived on chaos. I craved stability. She wanted to move to New York and build an art collective. I wanted to invest in property and settle in Oxford. We weren't wrong for wanting different things. We were wrong for pretending our short-term chemistry could override long-term misalignment. A Stanford University study on relationship longevity revealed something eye-opening. Couples with aligned life goals and lifestyle values are 68% more likely to sustain long-term satisfaction, regardless of initial attraction. This is where tattoos can indirectly play a role. Women who express identity strongly through body art often engage in constant self-evolution. That's not bad, when in fact, it's admirable. But if you're looking for predictable stability, you may find yourself mismatched. Here's the Stoic principle that changed my approach. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. Stop trying to change someone to fit your vision. Stop ignoring lifestyle conflicts because passion blinds you. Instead, ask yourself, do our values, habits, and life goals genuinely align? Or are we forcing compatibility? Because here's the hard truth. Chemistry fades, but incompatibility only grows louder with time. Chapter 11. The Stoic Truth About Choosing the Right Partner. Now we arrive at the heart of it all. The Stoic lens on relationships, choices, and peace. The Stoics never judged people for their preferences or appearances. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't care if someone had tattoos, jewelry, wealth, or status. What they cared about was virtue, character, and alignment with reason. Here's what Marcus Aurelius wrote: "Choose not what is pleasant, but what is lasting." When it comes to relationships, this means choose someone whose values align with yours. Choose someone whose lifestyle complements yours. Choose someone whose emotional patterns match your peace. Tattoos themselves are neutral. What matters is what they often symbolize: a strong sense of identity, a desire for self-expression, a life often connected to social environments and external visibility. If you want adventure, creativity, and constant novelty, you might thrive with someone who lives boldly. But if you value stability, consistency, and quiet grounding, you need someone whose choices support that. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Many men create mental stories, assumptions that tattoos talk your red flags. That's not Stoicism. That's fear. The Stoic path is to observe reality without judgment and choose wisely based on facts, studies, and self-awareness. When you understand yourself deeply, you stop chasing chaos. You stop forcing relationships that drain your energy. You stop ignoring red flags out of loneliness. The right partner, tattooed or not, will naturally align with your values, respect your boundaries, and bring peace instead of turbulence. And that, my friend, is the ultimate Stoic truth. Love should make you stronger, not weaker. Final words to the viewer. At the end of the day, tattoos are just ink. But the patterns of behavior, values, and environments behind them, those are worth understanding. Make choices based not on desire alone, but on alignment. Because the wrong relationship can cost you years, energy, and peace of mind. But the right one can amplify every part of your life. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.